It's hard to be a mad scientist, but even harder to create an animated series that's beloved by millions of fans around the world. We're taking a portal to the universe behind Rick and Morty to discover little-known facts about the show. Strap in.
Oh, yeah!
While the pop culture references on Rick and Morty abound, so do allusions to the voice actor's most famous roles. Actor and comedian David Cross plays an alien who can't handle nudity, almost as if he's a never nude, like his character Tobias on Arrested Development.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I need you to be completely undressed.
I am completely undressed.
Then there's Snowball, a cute dog who wants to take over the world and is assisted by an accountant. They're played by Rob Paulsen and Maurice LaMarche, the actors who voiced the title roles on Pinky and the Brain, a show about two lab mice with designs on world domination. Actress Sarah Chalk voices Beth Smith, Rick's daughter and Morty's mother. Beth is a horse surgeon, which makes Rick and Morty the third time Chalk has played a blonde doctor on TV, following her years on Scrubs and a recurring role on How I Met Your Mother. As part of a promotional blitz for the 1998 Disney movie Mulan, McDonald's briefly offered a Szechuan dipping sauce for its Chicken McNuggets. In 2017, in the Rick and Morty Season 3 premiere, Rick rants that getting more of that sauce is essentially his reason for living.
I'm driven by finding that McNugget sauce. I want that Mulan McNugget sauce, Morty. That's my series arc, Morty. If it takes 9 seasons.
Consequently, the reference inspired a frenzied response from Rick and Morty fans, leading to petitions at change.org to persuade McDonald's to bring back Szechuan sauce. Leading up to the premiere of the third season of Rick and Morty, McDonald's came through. The company posted a picture of 3 giant jugs of Szechuan sauce on its Facebook page, along with an announcement that it would be giving them all away. In addition to some lucky fans, one other person got a very special delivery of the sauce. Rick and Morty's own Justin Roiland. He tweeted out a photo of his newly acquired stash, along with a personal letter from McDonald's. The point of a TV show's writer's room is to brainstorm ideas, work them out, and turn them into usable stories. That's how Rick and Morty writers got the nugget for Pickle Rick, the famous episode in which Rick turns himself into a pickle and has to grapple with all kinds of challenges to get to a family therapy appointment. Co-creator Dan Harmon told Fast Company, "I think it was a case of somebody just saying, what if we started the episode this way, with him turning himself into a pickle? But why?" Harmon says it's because Rick is his own worst enemy and he'd want to prove himself.
Stop digging for hidden layers and just be impressed. I'm a pickle.
I'm just trying to figure out why you would do this.
That's when Harmon and his staff realized they could find inspiration from a second season episode of Breaking Bad in which Walt and Jesse's Winnebago breaks down in the desert. Harmon explained, "We get to see Walter White up against primal forces instead of watching him negotiate and bluff with street dealers and kingpins. It was interesting to watch him trapped in a hot van, about to die, and having to fall back on his basic science knowledge." Similarly, Rick has all sorts of tech at his disposal, but he can rely only on his wits to endure life as a pickle. Each episode of Rick and Morty begins with one of the most recognizable opening sequences in modern television. As the camera soars through space and then transitions into scenes of Rick and Morty and their family avoiding all sorts of dangers, it's accompanied by a haunting electronic score, driven by what sounds like synthesizers and a theremin, a classic sci-fi combo.
I heard sci-fi noises. Did you make a breakthrough?
Those elements sound familiar, but so does the final product, which might be because Rick and Morty composer Ryan Elder pulled from 3 famous sci-fi theme songs in particular, although it wasn't actually written for this show. Elder explained, "That main theme was written for another pilot that Justin Roiland and I were working on. It was called Dog World, and I guess the elevator pitch would be a planet where dogs evolved from men, but it was more kid-oriented." Roiland asked Elder to come up with a song that was adventurous, not unlike the themes from Invader Zim, Farscape, and Doctor Who. You can't get any more direct than that, so that's just what Elder did. He said, "I kind of put all of those in a blender and came up with something that I felt had a nice adventurous build to it, a sense of anticipation, and forward momentum." When they later needed a theme song for the pilot of Rick and Morty, Elder took that track he'd made for Dog World and stuck it in as a temporary fix. The rest is history.
And as time went on, we just were like, you know what? Everybody likes it. Let's go with this, you know? I barely changed it from one to the other.
Rick and Morty is one of Adult Swim's biggest hits of all time, and it inspired a fan base so devoted it was willing to wage war against a major fast food chain. It's a successful series by most any metric, and yet it went on an incredibly long hiatus after the final episode of Season 3 aired in October 2017. The first episode of Season 4 wasn't scheduled to hit the air until November 2019. more than 2 years later. Just why and how did it take co-creators Justin Roiland and Dan Harmon to get more episodes in the can?
See ya for season 4 in like a really long time.
The simple answer? Contract negotiations dragged on. According to Justin Roiland in GQ, the creators wanted enough money so Harmon wouldn't, quote, have to take 12 other jobs while we're working on season 4. However, the wait appears to have been well worth it. In 2018, Rick and Morty, a show that had only aired 31 episodes at that point, was officially renewed for a 4th season and beyond, landing a huge 70-episode order from Adult Swim. It's not quite forever and ever, but it's a good start.
Rick and Morty forever and forever, 100 years. Rick and Morty things. Me and Rick and Morty and running around and Rick and Morty time. All day long, forever.
Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Looper videos about your favorite shows are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.